Ohio is among the top states for several agricultural crops and for food production and processing. But while farming is considered an essential business under the stay-at-home order, this is a tough time for those who run the state's 76,000 farms. Statehouse correspondent Jo Ingles has more.
The DeBruin family owns a small dairy farm in Fayette County. The 33 cows on their farm produce about 4 gallons of milk every day, and day-to-day operations have been basically the same since the stay-home order was imposed in March.
Our life on the farm has not changed. The milk truck comes, the service folks come, our feed's delivered. So pretty much, spring is here and we've just done our thing.
But it's a tough time for many dairy farmers.
It's because we had farmers in Ohio that had to dump milk right there on their farm instead of sending it to the processing facility, because that processing facility was getting more and more milk that was usually made to make cheeses and butter for restaurants and pint-sized milk for school. That milk now was going into making more fluid milk for the consumer, and so the processor got backlogged.
And Ty Higgins says many grocery stores were making matters worse by limiting the quantity of milk consumers could purchase. At the same time, food banks in Ohio are experiencing explosions in the number of people they serve. With all of the newly unemployed Ohioans, the number of people turning to food banks has increased fourfold in many cases. Lisa Hamler-Fugit with the Ohio Association of Food Banks says that milk that's been dumped is sorely needed by many families. She says it's not just a problem of processing.
We also have a distribution channel problem where we need semi-tractor trailers to be brought in, refrigerated semi-tractor trailers brought in and staged along with our mass distributions as well, so we can offload gallons and half gallons of milk directly to the families that are queuing in line for food.
Hamler-Fugit expects the situation will get better now that a new USDA program is being put in place to help ease existing problems with processing and distribution. Dairy farmers are not the only ones with the problem. Wheat, soybeans, corn, meat, and other Ohio farm staples are expected to yield fewer dollars this year because schools and restaurants have been closed this past month.
70% of the bacon we produce in Ohio went to the restaurant chains. And so you think about all the hamburger that you eat and all the pork that you eat in the restaurants. Think about the cheese and the butter and the milk that you enjoy in your favorite establishment. All that went away in the blink of an eye.
The Ohio Farmers Union's Joe Logan says the problems with processing and distributing are exposing a weakness in the food system.
The consolidation that we have allowed to happen, even facilitated happening throughout not only the nation but the world, has led us to a point of very high vulnerability for our livestock market. And of course, what happens in the livestock market then trickles down to all the corn and soybean producers across Ohio and the nation. So our nation right now is in a really very vulnerable place. And farmers don't have much in terms of a safe harbor.
As for the DeBruins, they've found that safe harbor by keeping their farm small. And it's a family affair. They don't rely on hired labor. They provide organic milk for a co-op, and their milk isn't on the futures exchange. The DeBruins get a stable price for their milk, and small farmers around them are opting to provide organic milk too.
We can make a living at it and depend on it. The reason so many other farms have gotten so large because the margins are getting thinner and thinner. It's a boom and bust thing. When it's good, it's great, and if you're large and it's really great, right? But when they're losing a lot too.
Most farmers cannot and will not go organic. But farm organizations say the problems that have been brought to light during this pandemic won't be taken lightly once Ohio gets back to its new normal. Jo Ingles, Statehouse News Bureau.